So why won't you be able to wholesale a deal in 30 days? It's very simple. You're too new at this. I get that you're hearing all these Instagram, TikTok gurus talking about close a deal in your first 30 days. Oh my God, this is so cool. But it's complete bullshit. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've coached a lot of people through this. I've helped a lot of new wholesalers, experienced wholesalers, and I've spotted the trends that can get you to close a deal that quickly. I can close a deal in less than 3 days. I've closed deals that quickly, but because I have the experience, I have the resources, I have the knowledge to even understand what it is that I'm doing. And when you're just starting off, you don't have any of these things, right? So for you to be able to close a deal in 30 days is beyond ridiculous. So in this video, I'm going to show you like just the 3 areas that I've seen as the pattern of why you can't close a deal in 30 days. And then I'm going to give you some tips on how to increase your chances to be able to do that. And this has worked time and time again. So it's a proven strategy, it's a proven method. So stick around. And if you gain any value from this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you give me that thumbs up because it helps out tremendously. So I hope you enjoy this video. So the first challenge I see most people face when they're starting off is you're all over the place. And what do I mean by you're all over the place? You're doing too much marketing to everybody. And when you're doing too much marketing to everybody, what you're going to come to learn is that each seller has a unique reason for needing to sell. And if you are, look at it this way, if you in your tool chest only have a hammer, you can only hit nails. Right? You're not going to get any screws that way. You're definitely going to break them. You're not going to be able to do anything else if it's not for the tool of a hammer. So if you only have, let's say, one skill set, which is analyzing a deal at 70% minus repairs and to get like a cash deal and something like that, then you're only going to be suited for that type of seller that would fit for. But there's so many other types. You have your foreclosures, your probates, they need to be, and they must be handled differently. It's not a simple formula to take those deals down and to provide the seller with exactly what it is that they need that's going to give you a deal that's worthy of wholesaling and making money on, right? There's a way to approach an absentee seller, a probate seller, a foreclosure seller. They're all different. This is why our average wholesale fee is 35, 40 grand, because we target specific type of sellers and we are able to close them in a very unique type of way that increases our margins. All right. So when you are marketing, if you're all over the place, if you tell me, and this is, I mean, all the time when I get a new student and I analyze their business, I'm like, okay, tell me the marketing you're doing. Well, I'm marketing to this. I'm marketing to that. I got divorce. I got probates. I got foreclosures. I got absentees. I'm like, all right, just stop. You're all over the place, and you can tell. I mean, analyze this yourself. If this is you and you're all over the place, how many deals have you closed? Right? So if you see this, that you're like, yeah, man, I've actually been struggling. I know. And it's not even a judgment. I've been there. That's why all these videos, everything that it's on this channel is from experience. It's all the same shit that we've done. When we've hit those snags in the market where it's like, man, we're not getting any deals, the only response for us was like, we got to do more marketing, right? We got to target more lists. We got to broaden our reach. And it wasn't that. The more we've narrowed down our marketing and our targeting, the better the deals have gotten. So if you are too broad, that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, you do not know what a deal looks like. So what do I mean by you do not know what a deal looks like? I get so many of these people, and I'm sure you've seen it, where they're sending me, hey, John, I got a deal. And I look at it, I'm like, no, you got a contract. You don't have a deal. You didn't negotiate it properly. You don't have it low enough. You haven't analyzed this correctly. And the reason they don't know what a deal looks like is because they are not the buyer. They've never bought a piece of real estate. They don't understand what a deal looks like. What determines a deal is your buyer's list. That's it. It is not a 70% formula. It is not an 80% formula. There's no formula to understand what a deal looks like except for your buyers. Your buyers are going to tell you what it's a deal. Why do I say this? I know a lot of you gurus out there that you're going to be like, oh, bullshit, 70% formula. Yes, okay, whatever the hell you want to say. But I've closed deals that don't meet the 70% formula, and I've made $20,000 on that. You understand? Like, the buyer is going to tell me where they need to be. How much of a discount do they need? How much of a profit margin do they need? How much profit do they want to make on that deal? How much rehab are they willing to take on? What type of rehab they're willing to take on? Because there's buyers. There was a house I did recently that I wholesaled to a buyer that does owner financing. To me, that house needed to be freaking torn down because it just wasn't worth renovating the whole house. When he went to look at it, he's like, yeah, I rate this a 7 out of 10. My mind was blown, right? Because I was like, what the hell are you looking at? I mean, I flipped hundreds of houses. All right. This is not like I'm just talking out of, hopes and dreams that I have. Like, I've actually flipped hundreds of houses. To me, I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, in the owner finance space, it's different the way we analyze deals. I was like, you know what? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to learn. I didn't know that. Right. So this deal that I wasn't able to make a deal on because of the numbers I was running based on what I considered to be a flip worthy property, to him was a deal. And it made me, that one wasn't a big wholesale, but it made me $10,000 on something that I would have normally walked away from. Right. Because my buyer is what's determining what the deal is. When you on the property, there was no 70% minus repairs, 80%. There was no formula that would have fit that deal. The only formula that fit is that I had a buyer that wanted that property because of its location and its potential. There's no way you can factor for that except for having a qualities buyers list. Now, if you're saying, all right, John, how do I build a qualities buyers list? Well, I have a whole playlist that you can click. The description's going to be, the link is going to be in the descriptions below. I have a whole playlist on how to find your buyers, how to vet your buyers, because it's not also building a massive buyers list that you have 500 buyers, because that's just complete bullshit. I think if you have anywhere from 7 to 10 solid buyers in your area, you can wholesale all day long. All day long, you can wholesale and get good deals. And that leads me right into mistake number 3 is you don't have the right buyer on your list. So the importance of a buyer is understanding what a deal looks like. Having the right buyer is a buyer that's always going to close, always going to deliver, right? A lot of times we go to these networking events and everybody wants to be a buyer. Everybody wants to get into real estate. But when you start digging into it, they haven't done any deals. They haven't bought anything. They haven't done anything. So when you bring them something that supposedly fits their criteria, they get gun shy and they're like, oh my God, they start overanalyzing and it screws up your deal, right? It screws up your contract. So having the right buyer, who is the right buyer? I like to target people that buy anywhere north of 10 properties a year. These are people that know their buy box. They can make a decision quickly. And if they say yes, they're going to deliver 9.9 out of 10 times. They're going to deliver. They're going to come through on you. And you want to make sure that's the type of buyer you want. Also, by having a good quality buyer, if you come across, and I did this a lot when I was starting, if you come across a motivated seller and you don't quite know how to contract that deal because they're motivated, but based on the formulas and everything that you know, it doesn't fit anything because they either owe too much or the house is too jacked up or something like that. If you have the right buyer on your list, you can call that buyer up, be like, hey, look, I have a motivated seller. It's in the area that you're interested. I just don't know how to work a deal out of this. That buyer is going to go with you. He's going to help you analyze that property. And most likely they're going to help you put it under contract and move that property with you. Most likely they're going to be the buyers for it. You're going to get a wholesale fee from it, as you should, right? They should give you a wholesale fee, but that's not even the goal. The goal is for you to understand how to take down a deal like that. So your buyers can become your actual mentors in that moment for that deal. And that's how you get deals done. You need to have the right buyers. You need to understand what a deal looks like, and you need to narrow your marketing. If you're all over the place with your marketing, you don't have a buyers list, and you don't have the right buyers on your list, you're not going to close anything. And let alone in 30 days, it's going to be ridiculous. Because all of these things, what they equate to is having the experience. I have the experience, the resources. I can take any deal and close it within 3 days because I have access to the funds. I have the resources, my title company. I know what to look for. There's a lot of times with foreclosures that they get very messy. I do a lot of the title research myself before we send it over to title. So I do all the legwork already so we can push that property right through title as quickly as possible to make sure we can close within a few days. But that's experience. And that's experience that you as a new wholesaler don't have. But how can you get that experience? You either hire a coach like me or you partner with a buyer that understands those types of deals. So let's say you want to target foreclosures in your market. Partner with a buyer that has bought many foreclosures in your market because they're going to know what documents you need. They're going to know what the process is going to be, that they can move quickly. They have the resources. They're going to know all that. So you tell them, look, I'll do the legwork. I'll find the deal. I'll find the motivated seller. I just need you to help me take it over the finish line. You do a few with that person and you're going to understand how to do this yourself. And you're going to get better at understanding what a deal actually is, and you're going to get better at finding the right buyer that's going to get you paid, right? So if you put all these strategies together, there's a better chance that you're going to wholesale a deal quickly. I'm not promising that you're going to wholesale in 30 days because there's a lot to being able to wholesale a deal in 30 days. There's a lot there. I don't like to promise that because it's complete nonsense. Everybody is different. And here's another little catch that I've seen too. The people that I've seen get a good deal within their first 30 days typically are the investors that struggle the most in this business because they think it's easy, because it happened very easily. And really what it was is luck. It wasn't that, they're that skilled. And it's not a knock on them, right? Because you don't know any better, but it's not that simple. This thing takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work. It's not something as simple as like, oh, I'm going to be a wholesaler and tomorrow you wake up and you're making 30 grand a month. It doesn't work that way. But it can get to that level for sure, but it doesn't start that way. And you need to be able to kind of take your licks and learn those lessons so you can be a really good investor as you grow and scale. Because at the end of the day, wholesaling is not where you want to be. It's a good starting line, but that's not where you want to end up. You want to either be a fix and flipper, buy and hold. Ideally, you want to become a buy and hold investor in either scenario, whether it's owner finance or it's long-term rentals. But regardless, wholesaling is a great place to start. Just set your expectations to be more long-term versus short-term. Like it shouldn't be like, I need a deal in 30 days. It's like, no, I need to understand how to work this so I can become a successful real estate investor. And how long is that going to take me? However long it takes. I'm not quitting. There's nothing in this space that's going to make me quit because I want to be a real estate investor. So I'm going to put in my time. I'm going to earn my stripes and I'm going to learn the correct process of how to analyze deals. That's how I learned to analyze flips, rentals, new construction, everything that we've done, I've learned through wholesaling by working with my buyers and understanding how they analyze, how they look at things. Now I can look at a property within 10 minutes and I know if it's a deal or not because I've done hundreds of those. So I understand what a deal looks like now. But when I got started, man, I look back and there were a lot of properties that I completely passed up on that I wholesaled for $2,000 where I could have wholesaled for 15, all because I didn't know what I had. I didn't know what a deal looked like. And I know you're saying, oh man, John, $2,000 right now would be great. I get it, but that's not where you want to be, because when you get into that habit of it's fine, just $2,000, let's get it done, it's fine, you're always going to be there. You got to understand what the true value of a deal is, because it gets to a point where the $2,000 is just not enough. You understand? You need to do more, but you build very bad habits. So you need to be able to understand that this is a long-term game. If you're not in it for the long term, then don't get in it at all, because it's going to be very, very stressful and you're going to hate it. You understand? So this is not that kind of business. If you want to be in this, it's because you want to be in real estate. You want to learn how to be a good landlord or a good rehabber or whatever it is in the real estate space, right? Become a real real estate investor. So put in the time, learn the process correctly, understand marketing, understand what deals look like, understand how to build a buyer's list. When you build that, which is your acquisition arm, anything you want to do in real estate just becomes so much easier. When you have deal flow, there's never a time in your life you're ever going to need money. So again, if you guys found this valuable, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in anything regarding coaching, text the word coaching to 210-798-9898. Nope. Fuck is the number? 7. Oh. And if you're interested in any type of coaching with me, then text the word coaching to 210-794-9898, and we can talk further about that. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.